these enemies when your own friends will kill you. The worst video I've seen come out of this generation in Chicago is when a kid walked outside with 3 of his friends, all captured on a ring cam. 2 guys stay behind them while they're all walking. Then all of a sudden, one guy runs ahead and one of the guys in the back unload on the one in the middle, with the guy in the back running up and standing over him. These are the people he came outside with. But out of the 3 guys that set him up, only 2 fired. So if this third guy that didn't shoot ever gets caught, he's giving up every name. But this is what you deal with in the city, any city. You don't have no friends. Guys make longer lasting friendships than women because women try to compete with each other, but even as a guy, you'll end up dead, in jail, or betrayed in some way thinking that you got a friend. Once you become an adult, you got 1 or 2 friends that actually have your best interest in mind. If you're 25 and you still going out with 5 of your friends, just know that at least 3 of them will line you up if it was ever beneficial to them. But let's get into the subject. I would say that every generation, the guys in the street get younger and younger, but that's not true. 15 years ago in Chicago, it was still the freshmen and sophomores in high school out here stealing cars, shooting, and having the most fear attached to their name. Now over the past year, I've seen a lot of people cover this certain group of kids out of Chicago, and to be honest, I didn't follow them too much because at my age, it's just heartbreaking to see 14 and 15-year-olds playing the streets and just being too young to really understand the consequences. Now it doesn't matter what gang they in or what block they from because they killing each other. There's no need to gang bang or have ops when you already hanging with the people that's gonna kill you. And one of the craziest things to me is when adults interview these children and for whatever reason and whatever crumbs they paid them, the kids end up admitting their own crimes. This guy, a rapper called Lil Kso, was recently arrested for being involved in the murder of one of his own associates, Kso. But when he went on No Jumper, without Adam even saying anything, he admitted that Kso was sharing his location with him and that he had also forgot that he was sharing his location.
Kso, he didn't know he was sharing his low with me.
And it's widely believed that Lil Kso's role in the murder was given a location. You even see his homie eyeball him as he's saying too much, as if to tell him that he's saying too much. But it was too late anyway. This is another thing the kids can learn from. If your homie ain't willing to tell you to shut up, just know he gonna forget about you when you go to jail. But forget friends. You got one of the alleged killers of Kso with Kso's cousin, and she laughing.
Kso got shot at this head.
Bye, Sloan, bye.
Watch out, gang. Like I can't dish your cousin in front of you.
Damn, bro. Back when my generation was coming up in the 2010s, you see a guy getting set up trying to go meet a girl that he thought had a crush on him, and you definitely see a friend put another friend in a messed up position. But it's just something about how they doing it today that seems more sinister. I would say, where are the parents? But this girl already got on the interview and said that she didn't have any, and that at 16 years old, she had to raise her little brother, who also died in the streets around 15. Kids raising kids, a story that's all too common. Now, there was controversy about the guy that was killed, such as accusations of him switching sides or jumping hoods, but none of that matters, because these guys don't even have loyalty to the people they grew up with. And I say grew up with loosely, because most of them are under 18, so they really didn't grow up with nobody. But what I saw for myself was that the kid who died shortly before he died was recorded in a house with his friends right as he was storming out because one of them had taken his gun. Imagine that. We all living a life that calls for us to carry a gun because other kids are trying to kill us. I come in the house with you guys because I think I can trust you, only for one of y'all to steal my gun and send me on my way. And then after you die, your alleged cousin is in the same house with one of the people responsible for your death. Allegedly. Either way, he dissed them right in front of his cousin. But just because they were cousins doesn't mean they were close, and it also doesn't mean they talk to each other. But still, somebody's grandmother just has to sit back and watch these things unfold, which she probably doesn't even understand, assuming she even cares. Now, the actual story that's been going around is crazy, and it's that apparently Kso and his former friends got into a shootout shortly before his death, and this shootout was followed by one of the friends posting the audio from this shootout, and then hours after, another guy ended up coming to the kid's house and being let in, only to kill him and run back out. And all of this is allegedly because there's a lot of confusion on who dropped whose location. Lil Kso was allegedly picked up because he had the location of the kid that died, but people in the streets are saying that his actual killer did what he did because he thought his location was dropped. A confusing mess, and like many things in Chicago, it probably started over nothing, but still ended up with multiple people gone. You got 2 in custody, possibly facing life, and 1 dead. And the cold-blooded thing about it is that the guy locked up for the murder posted the guy he's accused of killing with some type of heartfelt goodbye to him. Like, what the f***? But this guy, 650 Lil Mike, he's not associated with the situation, but he is one of the only guys in this generation I've heard say something real. And that's trying to tell his friend the truth instead of just going with the I'm riding with my homie whether he's right or wrong mindset that get people killed. Now, his best friend, a menace in Chicago named TJ, or 800 TJ, died in a shooting on the expressway. And it's widely known that TJ took a gun from a guy he was hanging with. Like, he told the guy, "Let me see that gun." The guy handed it to TJ, and TJ pointed it at him and ran off. This would lead to TJ being caught on the expressway and killed just 24 hours later, which led to the guy who got his gun stolen being called Mr. 24 by the internet shortly before he actually was arrested for the murder, proving that even the police believed he did in fact kill the guy that stole from him within 24 hours. Mike, his friend, was telling TJ not to do it before it happened. According to Mike, TJ had done something like this before and got shot for it, but this time will be his last.
I'm telling folks, don't do that shit.
But the messed up thing is, Mike himself was shot in the head after the situation, allegedly by people who thought he set TJ up, but he survived, although his female passenger did not. Now, I can't confirm that's why he got shot, but that's widely what the rumor is. But it also sounds very stupid, because who's going to sit in a car on the expressway in Chicago where everybody is doing 100 miles an hour and then set up a situation where somebody is going to shoot at the car he's in going 100 miles an hour? It doesn't add up. But Mike, who is still alive today, tried to warn his friend against backdooring somebody for no reason. But people are going to do what they want to do, and his friend didn't listen.
But a lot of what happened to the Kso kid appeared to be supposedly explained by his own mother on Facebook. Which, my question is, how did she know all this was going on? She clearly knew her son was in the streets, but how deep did she think he was? I'm not gonna lie, if I was a parent and I had a son, bro, you not gonna be having no shootouts around my house. Your little ass will be in boot camp, which is where some of these kids need to go. It's very easy for somebody his age to go off the deep end and get way too deep in the streets. And you don't have to be that deep in the streets to die in the first place. But man, I remember being 15, and back then, in high school, one of my friends that used to figure out random facts came across something that said your conscience doesn't fully develop until you're 25 years old. And whether that exact number is true or not, most studies agree that your conscience starts to develop around the ages of 4 to 7. And here, we're talking about guys who were just 7, 8 years ago. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean that all kids are psychopaths, but I know that I myself didn't necessarily want to hurt anyone at this age, but I was prepared to go all out defending myself. Then again, I remember it being very easy for me to go too far, and the appeal of doing something and forgetting the consequences exist. But I had a family that made sure I knew that everything has a consequence, and I was fortunate enough to be able to learn from the mistakes people made around me as a kid. I noticed that some people had more of a target on their back than others, so I avoided them when I could. I learned you shouldn't take advice from people your age because kids say anything with not much thought or wisdom behind those words. I learned my environment, how to survive, how to have fun, and how to make it back home. And it wasn't hard, but it is much harder to do the right thing without family support, I must admit. And that's what's going on with a lot of these kids. Some of them come home to an empty house, and some of them are being raised by kids who themselves had no one. These are the ones in the worst position. And being exposed to certain things too young can definitely have a negative effect on you, like I mentioned before. One of my friends witnessed his father's murder, so as a result, he convinced himself that he wouldn't live past a certain age, and he acted recklessly because of it. But once you become an adult, you realize that you do actually have something to lose. You backdoor somebody, you might think you got a problem out of the way, but whoever you hang with, they don't trust you. They see what you do and are probably on the same thing. There's no need to gangbang or claim any set when the guys that you let in your mom's house will be the ones to kill you. The most famous kid to come out of this generation, Bloodhound Lil Jeff, got into a war with the hood his father is from, all because they let him borrow a watch and he stole it. Then his cousin ended up dead, and according to Lil Jeff himself, several other people ended up dead to avenge his cousin. When, if he had just given the watch back, there would be at least 3 people still alive today, including himself. He actually died running back over to this hood and trying to kill someone. And this is why I say that in Chicago, what set you claim is irrelevant. These guys clicking up with other sets and all killing each other. Then, they going to each other's funerals and pretending to miss each other. And this is just 10% of the kids in the hood I'm talking about. The rest of the kids in the hood just have to learn how to navigate and survive all this snake activity. But this is nothing new. A lot of y'all already knew this. I just thought I'd give my take on this whole situation because it relates to something that's much bigger. But thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. Just watch who y'all be around, bro. There's a lot of shit going on out here. Y'all be careful.